And this is a message that still resonates with brands today. Attitudes towards health have changed, so there's constant pressure to reduce the amount of salt, sugar and fat that's put into our favourite food and drinks. And this unassuming building outside the M25 is one of the places food manufacturers come to work out how to change their secret recipes without sacrificing the flavour or their customers. This is Marketing Science's sensory unit.
This particular facility was set up about 3 or 4 years ago. It's got all the latest sensory testing equipment and it's designed specifically with sensory testing in mind.
And through these doors is Marketing Science's ultimate weapon, a hand-picked unit with extraordinary abilities. These are the Super Tasters. Individuals with extremely sensitive palates who can identify tastes with a greater precision than 90% of the population. While most of us will recognise if something is sweet, sour, bitter or salty, these guys can identify the intensity of each to a minute degree. They can even score them on a numerical scale. Able to analyse a product's flavour with superb accuracy, the Super Tasters are who manufacturers turn to whenever they want to amend established recipes. One of them is Susan Woodland. She first discovered she had the power of Super Taste 15 years ago.
I saw an advertisement in a newspaper that was advertising for people to join a sensory panel. And I've always been interested in food. I love cooking and I'm always interested in trying new flavours and things. I didn't have any idea that I would be able to pick out the different flavours that I am able to taste. I think it's something you just have or you don't have, really.
We've been granted a rare chance to see Susan and her colleagues at work. On today's menu, tomato soup. A manufacturer wants to reduce the salt content of one of its brands. It's come up with several different alternatives and has asked the Super Tasters to determine which is closest to the flavour of the original. They're not told what brands they're testing. Nothing must distract from their task of objectively breaking down and analysing how each individual soup tastes.
All the products will be tested at the same temperature, the serving sizes will be the same, the bowls that we serve them in will be the same, the amount of time that the panellists have to test them will be the same. We have a super duper air conditioning here that cleans the air so that we don't have any build-up of aroma.
It's not to do with whether you like something or not, it's about the different things that you can taste in a product and the ratio of those different tastes to each other.
Why aren't these calculations made by computers, I hear you ask? Simple. Humans are just far better at the job.
The machine will only look for what it's been asked to look for, whereas human beings can tell us if we've got an unusual taint in a product, and it can tell us how the complex flavours add together to give overall taste.
Thank you.
It may well be that we can change the fat content, and the flavour may be fine, but that might lead to a consequence with the texture, and that's the sort of thing that the sensory panellists will pick up.
The Super Tasters analyse every soup in turn, giving things like bitterness, saltiness and texture a score out of 100. This creates a very precise numeric blueprint for each. One of the soups will be the actual product the makers want to change, but the tasters aren't told which. All the manufacturers have to do is look at the results, find the new soup whose blueprint most closely matches the original, and hey presto, they know which new recipe to develop. As for the Super Tasters, for them, it's on to the next job.
Well, I dare say that if you're lucky enough to be a super taster, you'd have no problem picking up on any foodie fibs. We've already seen how their highly sensitive taste buds can help companies change recipes while still retaining their familiar flavour. But they also come in handy when there's a new product to be launched.
Manufacturers are constantly revamping and updating their foods, striving to find innovative ways to corner the market. Their chefs will regularly create dozens of new recipes, but to find out which ones will make a splash, they all need to be trialled. And that, once again, is where the Super Tasters come in.
We can use this process to greatly streamline the product testing process. So if a manufacturer starts with a concept, either for a new product or perhaps for a new recipe, they may have 20 or 30 prototypes, and they're not going to want consumers to try and test all of those.
Today, a manufacturer has tasked the Super Tasters to help them categorise 22 types of tomato soup that they've come up with. Using their highly sensitive taste buds, they score each recipe for things like how garlicky it is, how thick it is, or how much one particular flavour stands out.
So we've mapped the products according to which ones are similar and which ones are different. So the ones we've put in this quadrant tend to be thick and creamy. This one over here is thick and potatoey. We've got some herby products in this quadrant. These ones tend to be thin and watery, and we've got some spicy products here.
This taste matrix helps manufacturers launch and market a new product. If the Super Tasters scores show that several soups have similar tastes, then the manufacturer can whittle down their recipes by discarding the more expensive ones. Then the shortlisted soups are taken forward to the next stage, consumer testing. Super Tasters can analyse the flavour, but it's only the public who can tell a manufacturer what will sell.
So by testing these, we'll be able to understand which ones the consumer likes, which attributes are driving that preference. Is it thick and creaminess versus herbiness versus perhaps a spicy flavour? And do different consumers like each one? Have we got a group that want thick and creamy, and have we got a different group of people that like herby?
Members of the public recruited in shopping centres or in the street are invited here to Marketing Sciences to take part in one-off taste tests.
And I'd like you to tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the overall appearance of this product?
The appearance, I'd say 8.
Okay.
About a 7.
7, okay. How would you rate the overall aroma of this product? So if you'd like to give it a smell.
7.
I smell it from here, so it's not bad. Yeah, I'd say similarly 8.
An 8, okay. So if you'd like to go ahead and give it a taste.
Cool. An 8, yeah.
Probably about a 5.
I'd say 8.
No, make it
Okay.
9, it's nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not quite salty enough.
But it's not very tomatoey.
It was just on the borderline between tasty and bland, you know?
A little too sweet.
A little too sweet.
Not really like it at all. It's sort of herbs. Sorry, I've got... It left a big stringy bit.
And how likely would you be to buy this soup, assuming you were happy with the price using this soup?
I would probably not buy.
Probably not buy.
I would definitely buy it.
You'd definitely buy it?
Yes.
I would probably not buy it.
No, probably not buy it.
The makers can then use this information to decide which soups to ditch and which to put into production. So whether they're helping to launch a new product or finessing an existing one, the contributions of the Super Tasters are invaluable to manufacturers, even if their extraordinary powers of taste can prove to be a bit awkward in the real world.
I don't score things in my head, but you do tend to think when you go to somebody's house or if you go out for a meal, we do think about then. I mean, sometimes it is difficult to switch off from that. And in fact, we socialise as a group a lot. And if we go to a restaurant and the word gets back to the chef that we are a group of food tasters in, we know there's a bit of panic in the kitchen, but maybe that's a good thing.